All right, so today we're going to deep dive into production engineer interviews.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, it's a really interesting field,
Yeah.
and there's some really specific things that hiring managers are looking for.
Mm.
So we're gonna break down some common interview questions and give you some strategies for how to answer them really well.
Yeah, and we're going to be using some insights from RoleCatcher along the way, too.
Exactly.
Which is awesome.
So let's just jump right in. One of the first questions that you'll probably get is, you know, tell me about your experience in production engineering.
Yeah.
Now, this might seem pretty straightforward,
Yeah.
but what are they really looking for when they ask this?
Well, I think it's really tempting to just kind of like list out all the jobs you've had and like the things you did. But what they really want to hear about is your hands-on experience, right?
Okay.
Like they want to know that you've actually rolled up your sleeves and tackled production challenges.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to think about things like, internships projects. Even that time you like reorganized your pantry to make it more efficient.
Right.
Like it's all about showcasing your practical skills and how they translate to production engineering.
So it's less about job titles and more about like painting a picture with those specific examples.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it. But how do we decide like which of those experiences to highlight?
Yeah, that's where the research comes in, right? Like you really want to look into the company's production environment.
Okay.
Their scale, the technologies they use, the challenges they face.
Hmm.
And if you can connect your experiences to their specific needs, it shows you've done your homework and you're genuinely interested.
Okay.
And, this is where RoleCatcher can be really helpful.
Yeah, how so?
Well, their AI can actually analyze job descriptions
Oh, cool.
and pinpoint the skills that they're really emphasizing so you can tailor your response and really hit those key points.
So we're speaking their language right from the start.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so another question that comes up a lot is, how do you ensure production schedules are met?
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, I feel like this is a chance to kind of show off those organizational skills.
Totally. This is where you talk about your planning skills, the
Yeah.
tools you use, like project management software, and how you stay calm under pressure.
Okay.
Give them a specific example, like maybe there was a project where a key shipment was delayed,
Right.
but you still managed to adjust the schedule and meet that deadline.
Hmm.
Share that story.
It's proof that you can handle those unexpected things that always come up
Right.
and keep those production lines moving.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit and talk about efficiency and cost effectiveness.
Okay.
How would you approach this question? How do you ensure that production processes are both efficient and cost effective?
Ooh, yeah, this is like the heart of production engineering.
Yeah.
So this is where you want to talk about, your knowledge of different methodologies like Lean and Six Sigma,
Okay.
but don't just name drop them. Right.
Do you give a concrete example? Like maybe you used lean principles to identify a bottleneck in a production line.
Right.
Then you can talk about how you eliminated unnecessary steps, streamlined the process, and how this resulted in faster production times, reduced waste, saved the company money.
So we're walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly. Show them you know what you're doing.
Okay, cool. Now let's talk about safety because that is non-negotiable.
Yes.
So how would you answer this question? How do you ensure that safety regulations are followed in a production environment?
Mm-hmm. This is all about showing that you have a really proactive approach to safety.
Okay.
They want to see that you go beyond just knowing the rules and that you make safety a part of the culture.
Right.
Talk about, your commitment to safety training, your vigilance in identifying potential hazards, your ability to create a safety-first mindset within the team.
Okay.
You could even mention certifications. You have like a PMP certification, which, highlights your understanding of best practices, including safety. So we're showing that we take it seriously and make it a priority.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, let's be real. Conflicts are going to happen.
Oh, yeah, especially in a fast-paced environment.
Yeah, exactly. So how do we answer this question? How do you manage conflicts that arise in the production environment?
Well, the key here is to focus on your ability to, find those win-win solutions, stay professional.
Okay.
Share a specific example of a conflict you successfully resolved.
Mm-hmm.
Highlight your communication and problem-solving skills.
Right. And RoleCatcher's AI can actually be really helpful with this specific question.
It can. How so?
Well, it can analyze your response and see if there are any red flags. Like if you're coming across as confrontational or something,
Right. Yeah.
it can actually offer suggestions for how to improve.
Ooh, that's great.
Yeah, so you can frame your answer in a more positive and solution-oriented way.
So it's like having a little virtual interview coach.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. Speaking of people, Let's talk about how to answer this question. How do you ensure that the production team is motivated and engaged?
Yeah,
Because it's not just about the machines, right? It's about the people.
absolutely.
So how do we approach this one?
Well, this is where you really show off your leadership skills and your ability to create that positive team culture.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about recognizing achievements, providing opportunities for growth, fostering open communication.
Right.
Share a story about a time you motivated a team member to excel or help to create a more collaborative environment.
It's all about showing that you can lead and inspire a team to do their best.
Yes, exactly.
Now let's get to the fun topic of money.
Ooh, everyone's favorite.
Right. So how do you manage production budgets and ensure they are met?
Yeah, so be ready to talk about your experience with budgeting tools and methodologies.
Okay.
Your ability to track expenses and make data-driven decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Highlight a time when you identified cost-saving opportunities or streamlined a budget process, without sacrificing quality.
So we're showing that we're budget savvy
Yeah,
and that we can manage those resources effectively.
exactly.
Okay, last question, but not least. How do you stay up to date with new production technologies and trends?
Ooh, good one. Yeah, because it's a fast-moving field.
Yeah.
So staying ahead of the curve is super important.
Mm-hmm. So how do we show them that we're doing that?
Well, this is where you showcase your commitment to lifelong learning.
Okay.
Talk about conferences you attend, journals, you read, online communities you engage with,
Mm-hmm.
or even a recent technological advancement that you're really excited about.
Right.
And, RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze job descriptions to identify those in-demand skills for specific roles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it can help you focus your learning and tailor your resume to highlight your strengths.
So we're not just keeping up.
Right.
We're actively seeking out new knowledge and
Mm.
positioning ourselves as those forward thinkers. Awesome. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Any final thoughts before we move on to some career insights?
I think the biggest takeaway is be prepared to really showcase your practical experience, your knowledge of those key methodologies,
Right.
and your passion for, continuous learning.
Yay.
Remember, you've gotten this far in the process, so they already see something in you.
Mm-hmm.
Go in there with confidence and show them what you've got.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break and then we'll come back and dive into those career insights.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we've talked about some of those common interview questions.
Yeah.
But I want to switch gears a little bit and look at RoleCatcher's Production Engineer Career Guide.
Yeah, this guide is great.
Yeah, it is. It's really packed with insights.
Mm.
And one of the things that I found really interesting was how it breaks down the different stages of a production engineer's career.
Right.
So, you start out entry level and then you move up into those leadership roles.
Mm-hmm.
And it really shows how those responsibilities and expectations change as you gain experience.
Yeah, it's like a roadmap.
It is. It's like a roadmap for your career.
Yeah.
I also really like the section on essential skills
Oh, yeah.
because it goes beyond just the technical stuff, right?
Totally.
Like it talks about things like judgment, decision-making,
Right.
performance monitoring, active listening, like those soft skills that are super important.
Yeah. And what's really cool is that RoleCatcher actually quantifies how important each of these skills is
Oh, wow.
based on current industry trends.
Okay.
So you can really focus your development efforts on the areas that are most in demand right now.
So it's like a personalized skills checklist.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
But even with those great skills, we know this industry is always changing.
Always.
The guide emphasizes the importance of staying up to date
Mm-hmm.
on all those new technologies and trends.
Right.
So how do they recommend doing that?
Well, reading industry publications, attending conferences, even engaging in those online forums and communities.
Right.
Those are all great ways to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And something that really stood out to me was the section on knowledge and learning.
Oh, yeah.
It talks about seeking out mentors
Mm.
and building relationships with experienced professionals.
It's like having your own personal board of advisors.
Exactly.
I love that. Okay, before we move on from this career insights section, I have to mention the part about common interview pitfalls
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
because it's so helpful to see what not to do.
Yeah.
They list things like oversimplifying complex processes or making unrealistic promises or even downplaying safety.
Those are big ones.
Yeah, big no-nos. And they give you advice on how to avoid those pitfalls
Mm-hmm.
and even offer alternative ways to answer some of those tough questions.
It's like having a coach.
It is. It's like having that little voice in your ear saying, don't do that.
Do this instead.
Exactly. And speaking of coaches, RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze your responses and give you personalized feedback.
Oh, wow.
So for example, if you're applying for a senior level position,
Okay.
the AI might say, hey, you need to incorporate more leadership examples into your answers.
Right.
But if it's a junior level role,
Yeah.
it might recommend that you highlight your eagerness to learn and collaborate.
That's so cool.
I know, it's really smart. So it's tailoring that feedback
Mm-hmm.
to the specific role that you're going for.
Love that.
Okay, now salary negotiation can be a little scary,
It can be.
but RoleCatcher's career guides actually give you insights into those typical salary ranges
That's helpful.
based on your experience,
Right.
your location, the industry.
Yeah.
So it gives you that information that you need
Mm-hmm.
when it comes time to talk about compensation.
It's like having a secret weapon.
It is. Okay, so we've talked about career insights, we've talked about AI.
Yeah.
Now I want to jump back into those interview questions
Right.
and talk about some more of those challenging scenarios that might come up.
Good.
So imagine you get asked, tell me about a time you had to make a difficult decision in a production environment.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Yeah.
How would you approach that?
Well, I think the key is to choose a situation that really demonstrates your problem-solving skills,
Okay.
your ability to weigh different options,
Mhm.
and your commitment to making the best decision for the team and the company.
So what kind of example would you use?
Well, you could talk about a time when you had to choose between, two different suppliers. Maybe
Okay.
one was cheaper but had longer lead times,
Right.
and the other was more expensive but could deliver faster.
Hmm.
Walk them through how you weighed the pros and cons of each option
Okay.
and how you ultimately made that decision.
And then what if they ask, what would you do differently next time?
Ooh, good follow-up.
Right.
Yeah, that's where you can show that you're reflective
Mm-hmm.
and always trying to improve. Acknowledge any areas where you could have done better
Okay.
and offer specific steps you would take to avoid similar challenges in the future.
So it's about showing that we're open to feedback
Yeah,
and that we're always learning.
absolutely.
Okay, let's try another one. How do you handle working under pressure?
Ooh, yeah, that one's going to come up.
Guaranteed.
For sure, especially in production engineering.
Right?
A fast-paced environment.
So how do we answer that without just saying, I thrive under pressure?
Right. Well, you want to back it up with some concrete examples.
Okay.
Think about a time when you faced, a tight deadline
Mm-hmm.
or a production snag,
Right.
maybe even a really demanding supervisor.
Oh, yeah.
How did you handle that?
What did you do to stay focused and productive?
Maybe you prioritized tasks,
Okay.
took short breaks,
Right.
sought support from colleagues.
So we're showing, not just telling.
Exactly.
All right, one more. Tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult team member.
Ooh, classic. This is a tricky one.
It is tricky.
But it's all about how you handle those interpersonal skills
Right.
and your conflict resolution abilities.
Okay, so
Or-
how do we answer this honestly without, bad-mouthing someone?
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Right.
The key here is to focus on the situation
Okay.
and your actions, not on placing blame.
Right.
So describe the situation briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Outline the steps you took to address the issue.
Okay.
Did you try to understand their perspective?
Right.
Did you offer support or feedback?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to involve a supervisor or HR?
So we're showing that we can handle those interpersonal challenges professionally
Yeah.
and constructively.
And you know what? RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your response here too.
Really?
Yeah, to make sure you're not coming across as judgmental or lacking empathy.
Okay.
It can even offer suggestions for how to reframe your answer
Oh, wow.
to highlight your diplomacy and communication skills.
So helpful. Okay, so we've talked about career insights. We've talked about challenging questions.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools.
That's a good stuff.
Yeah. As we get ready to wrap up this deep dive, what are some key takeaways that our listeners should keep in mind?
Well, I think the most important thing is to approach the interview as a conversation,
Okay.
not an interrogation.
Right.
Be yourself.
Be confident.
Be confident and, be prepared to showcase your passion for production engineering.
And remember, they've made it this far in the process.
Right.
So they already see something in you.
Exactly.
Okay, before we wrap up, I want to focus on one final aspect of interview prep,
Okay.
mindset.
Oh, yeah.
How can we go into that interview feeling confident and ready to shine?
Good question.
So much about mindset,
Yeah.
right? Like walking into that room feeling like I've got this.
It really is. They've already seen something in you just by inviting you to interview.
Yeah, it's like you've already gotten that mini vote of confidence.
Exactly. So just remember that
Right.
project, that confidence.
Yeah.
Showcase your passion for production engineering. Let them see that you're eager to learn and grow.
Right.
And don't be afraid to just show genuine enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm's contagious.
It is.
It shows that you're really excited about the company and the role.
Yes, exactly.
So what else can we do to really project that confidence?
Well, I think preparation is key.
Okay.
Practice those answers to common interview questions.
Right.
Research the company really thoroughly.
Hmm.
Plan your outfit
Yeah.
when you feel prepared.
Yeah.
You just naturally feel more confident.
It's like studying for a test.
It is.
And don't forget to prepare some questions for them.
Oh, that's a great point.
Right.
Yeah, asking insightful questions shows that you're engaged and genuinely interested. And it also gives you a chance to assess whether this company is the right fit for you.
Yeah, it's a two-way street.
It is.
We're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing us.
Exactly. And, RoleCatcher's guides actually offer some really good suggestions for questions that you can ask based on the company and the role.
So it's like a cheat sheet of smart questions.
It is.
Okay. As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
Think about how you can use technology, not just in production engineering,
Right.
but to further your own career development.
Oh, yeah.
There are so many resources available online.
So many.
Industry forums, online courses, virtual networking events.
Yeah.
Embrace those tools. Learn new skills. Connect with other professionals.
Yes. Stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, you're not just a passive participant.
Right.
You're the driver.
Exactly.
So as you step into that interview room,
Yes.
remember, you're not just a candidate. You're a problem solver, a lifelong learner,
Yes.
a future innovator in the world of production engineering.
Go get them.
Go out there and show them what you've got. And remember, RoleCatcher is there every step of the way
They are.
to give you the tools and insights you need to make that dream career a reality.
Oh.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into production engineer interviews.
Yeah, this was fun.
And best of luck with your job search.